guys, welcome to a trashy movie recommendation video. Today is the first of 4 for Garbogus 3D. So our first category is going to be unsolicited remakes, and I have 7 cool movies for you guys. So just to be clear, this means that these movies are all remakes of an original, which stood for itself and was really good, and no one was asking for a remake. No one said the original was bad, but someone out there said, hey, I think I can make it better. And these movies are not necessarily bad. Some of them are really good. I actually like all of them. These are not necessarily better than the original. So the first movie I want to recommend for you guys is The Fly. So the 1986 version by David Cronenberg is actually a remake of the original The Fly from 1956 by Kurt Newman. Kurt Newman. Essentially, if you don't know the synopsis, it's a scientist who is into DNA altering, and one day his experiment goes wrong and he accidentally becomes a fly, basically. So I think the main reason this was remade was mainly because, you know, it's 20 years later, 30 years later, there was a lot of technological advantages and advancements, in filmmaking, etc. So the remake of The Fly is not only has not better necessarily, but more technologically advanced special effects and such, but it also goes a little bit deeper in the psychological thriller aspect, in my opinion. So the second movie is Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978 by Philip Kaufman, and the original to that one is movie of the same name by Don Siegel from 1956. This is about alien spores that invade Earth and take over humanity. So same as the previous The Fly, this is mainly remade because of the technological advancements. But also in the 70s, late 70s, there was that extra Cold War paranoia, and if you've seen the movies, you know what I mean. Again, I prefer Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the remake, but not as much as I prefer the remake of The Fly. So the next one I got for you guys is Night of the Living Dead from 1990 by Tom Savini, and the original version is by George A. Romero and is from 1958. So this is a pretty classic synopsis. It's like a bunch of strangers that end up sheltering in a farmhouse. It's a farmhouse during a zombie apocalypse. So it's pretty standard, and they fight them off and everything. The main difference to me is that in the remake, the characters feel more proactive, especially the female character. I think there's just one actually. In the remake, they're a little more proactive and not so much damsel in distressy, which is refreshing, I think, because hello, late 50s and women, I don't think so. Anyway. And also makeup, special effects, and such, and the fact that the remake is in color. Was the original black and white? I forget. I think it was, but correct me if I'm wrong. So the next one is a bit of an odd situation. So this is The Grudge from 2004 by Takashi Shimizu. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yes, Takashi Shimizu. And this is a remake from himself because he originally produced the first one in 2002, the Japanese version, and so he actually had to remake it in 2004 with a more American cast or a Western cast because of Westerners. So I find it kind of sad that he had to remake his own movie, but the good thing that came of that is actually that The Grudge was one of the first movies that helped with popularizing J cinema or J culture, which is really cool. So I guess it's a good thing. Side note, personally, of all horror movies I've ever seen in my life, The Grudge Both versions are the scariest I have seen ever. So do with that what you will. Next up we have House of Wax. So this version is the 2005 infamous Paris Hilton version, produced by Jean Cholia. And the original version was produced by André de Toth, so 1953. And this is essentially about a bunch of teenagers who end up in this weird town in which they find a wax museum, and it goes wrong without giving any spoilers. So the original version, again, was in black and white, so I think they wanted to kind of refresh it. Also, I think Paris Hilton was looking for movies to be in. Perhaps. I can't speak for her. I can't say I know much about her. I can't say it was good acting by any stretch of the means, but it's not as bad as I hoped it would be. Or that I wasn't hoping for it to be bad. Whatever. You know what I mean? House of Wax is good. I'm only recommending good movies here, by the way. Okay, or movies that I liked. Maybe you won't like them, but I did. So, okay, next up we have Pet Sematary, the 2019 version. Man, this was my last cinema outing before the pandemic, and boy, I don't know, it was really fun to see it in the movies. This was produced by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmer. Oh my gosh, we'll get it right. And so originally was produced by Mary Lambert in 1989. Pet Sematary is the story of this family who move into the house. And one of the kids, I believe, maybe the father, I can't remember for sure, finds this cemetery nearby the house. And he finds out that anyone or thing that is buried there comes back to life and becomes immortal. So the main difference here is that the remake is a little bit darker, and it has different plot lines-ish, and the character fates are different. So the original version is closer to the book. I thought it was interesting to kind of change the outcome of each character's storyline, so it's not just like a random remake, and much like The Fly, the Pet Sematary does kind of try to go more into the psychological thriller aspect of the movie and not just pure horror, which I find is kind of cool, actually. And the last one I'm going to recommend for today is The Invisible Man. So this is the 2020 version by Lee Whannell, I'm not sure. The original one being from 1933 and by James Whale. So 1933, it is in black and white. Now what I really like about this remake is that unlike the 1933 version, which is much closer to the book, feels more steampunky, right? The 2020 version is very high-tech. It does actually alter the producer or the director, I should say, altered the storyline a little bit, so it's more technologically inclined. Actually, high-tech does become a plot device, which I think is very cool. And it has Elizabeth Moss, which I don't know what you think of her, but I think she's an amazing actress. She did an incredible job in this movie. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list. Let me know your favorite remakes down below. And stay tuned for the next video in these recommendation series for Garb August. Happy trashy reading. Bye!